I've got 6 major steps in the process of how we've gotten to buying land. And the last one is probably the most impactful in terms of like, you know, starting to like, bam, actually being able to really accelerate. There's a ton of pressures and things for buying hunting products, buying land, all of that kind of stuff. I thought I was going to be like 20, early 20s, mid 20s, and I thought that's how a lot of people lose money in real estate. They buy when they shouldn't buy, and they sell. So stoked to be standing on my very first piece of hunting ground. And my wife and I just recently purchased this 20 acres. It's got a house, a cool shed, and a, like, say, slate of what I would say is just epic hunting ground. Today I'm doing this video to share with you how we have our very first piece of hunting property. So doing it in a way that's actually setting us up for massive success in our overall lives with our family, our finances, our overall goals, and here we go. I can vividly remember it. I was probably not even able to drive yet, and I was looking through magazines, looking at these sweet properties for sale in Iowa and all over the place, and thinking, man, one day I'm gonna be a landowner. I'm gonna have my own piece of land to hunt on, enjoy with family. There's always something that made me slightly hesitate to jump the gun on buying land. And there's some big factors I wanna talk about today and how we got here. And hopefully this can help you in making really good decisions, buying land, real estate, hunting properties, whatever it is. But really, this applies to a lot of things. But really, when you have that deep intentional goal of having something, that always helps. But we get bombarded by in our daily lives, social media, the marketing around the things we love, specifically like the hunting industry. There is a ton of pressures and things for buying hunting products, buying land, all of that kind of stuff. And so the process and the steps on how we got here is things you can incorporate into your plans and your goals of having land and what you want to do with your life. So today we're diving in how we got here, and I hope this helps you. The ability to successfully buy land in a good financial spot. And so first off, it actually is going to start with finances. That's what you have to have in order. You have to have a solid financial discipline in general as a base layer before you ever even consider buying land. And that's whether you're in your 20s, your 70s, whatever. And I am so glad that my wife and I started budgeting, tracking what we do with our money, being purposeful with everything finances when we first met. And we've been doing it now for at least solid 6 years of tracking and understanding what we're doing with our finances. And that has been the major base layer on being able to get here. And so that's, you know, knowing where your money goes, actually tracking that. You know, some people like budgets, some people don't. I like to look at it as more tracking, like knowing I spent this on this. I know my money is supposed to go over here. I know I paid myself over there. And doing those things is going to help you find little areas to improve on and make sure you continually improve, have that discipline in knowing what your money's doing. You don't know where your money is going, what you're spending on, how much you make, doing things to make more or spend less, that is not gonna let you win. in real estate, buying land, having the things you want in life. So sit down, write out your finances, know what you make, know what you spend on, and cancel the things you don't use. Hack certain things where, do you really need to spend $100 on internet? Maybe there's different ways to do that. Shop for new car insurance. Maybe sell your car and buy a old beater like I drive that's got rust on the wheel wells. It's got 200,000 miles, but it gets me from A to B. It's a great vehicle, and I don't have debt on that vehicle. I ramble on about finances and all the things that we've done to get through this step in order to even have a base layer for buying land. We're just gonna move on. I think if you want to watch more on that, I'm gonna put a much detailed video together on how we started in finances. Now, having that financial base layer in place, knowing where your money's going, we did some sacrificing. That means eliminating debt, not going out to eat as much, doing things people won't do so we can do things people can't later on. And that's putting off things till later. That is the next big step in being able to have amazing things like 20 acres and a house, is sacrifice. It is not what most people want to hear and not what most people want to do. Not everybody, but lots of people want things now. They want the easy button. And really that leads into just working hard and just having the focus. So my wife and I have sacrificed a lot to be here. And a big thing that I want to talk about in terms of what I've done to sacrifice is being very disciplined on not eating out a bunch, not spending frivolously on a bunch of hunting equipment and all of that kind of stuff. Easily I could spend tons of money on fishing, hunting, outdoors very quickly. And the big thing, the step that I took was actually, how can I hunt with less? Why do I have a backpack full of stuff when I'm going to sit out in the deer stand? I don't need all the fancy equipment to elk hunt. Like, when somebody tells you gotta have the fancy boots to crawl in the mountains, I crawled in the mountains a ton with trail running shoes that I used all year round for training, for running, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, having the right gear can be very, very much so more comfortable, but you don't need it. You don't need the $800 Mystery Ranch backpack. You don't need the $1,500 bow anymore. Like, why are you buying bows every year? Why are you spending so much, money on different products that don't actually kill deer or don't actually help you hunt out west? I think it's fun to spend on that kind of stuff, but really, if you want to get to a certain place and be able to really spend on that kind of stuff and enjoy that stuff, you got to eliminate it. Because you don't know what you really need until you eliminate it and then fit it back in. So, sacrifice. Big thing. Those are just some basic examples. We've sacrificed way more. And you know what? We fit into our budget things we really wanted to do. Like, I enjoy coffee. Everybody wants to complain about everybody spending $5, $7 on coffee every day. It's like, if that's that important to you, just fit it into your plan. And if it's in your plan, then you're set. But if it's not part of your plan, then eliminate it. So that's what I did. I ended up going just basic gas station coffee, a couple bucks. I didn't need it, but it was something that I enjoyed and still do, that, you know, if I'm gonna enjoy spending on coffee, I'm gonna have it in the plan and not be affected by it, not feel like I'm guilty for buying a couple good dollar cup of coffee. Now, the next thing, after you've sacrificed and like setting up that base for actually putting a really good plan together, is then having clarity. Clarity on where you want to go in life, what you want to have, having that vision, the direction of where you're going, and then defining those things. My wife and I spent a lot of time writing down our goals. We still do. And we actually do things where we're vividly writing out, you know, what is the thing we want to have? This 20 acres with a country home, something I can work on, do land management tests and practice experiments, you know, wanting to be able to do that. And then like drawing it out, like being very vivid with what you want and consistently doing that. Because that's what that's going to tell you in your feedback loops within how you operate, how you think, what you do. If you're telling yourself, this is what I need to keep my eyes open for, this is what I want, guess what? That's the stuff you see. When you buy a red truck, for instance, let's say it's just an F-150, red F-150. Isn't it a weird thing when that's all you see is red F-150s? It's the same thing. If I write out, I want to have a piece of ground, it's got 15 plus acres on it, a place that has maybe a little water on it, and something we can improve with for a house, a rundown house, something we can add value to. Well, when I write that down and both my wife and I are clear on that, boom, this is what we got. 20 acres, a rundown house, a shed we can fix up, and a blank canvas on which we get to play and experiment on. So, being clear on what you want. A lot of times when we're so focused on the things we want, it actually is tough, because we really did want to buy some sort of adventure property, land, and we're looking all over Minnesota, all over the places. You kind of get torn. This place is cool, that place is cool, this is cool, that's affordable, well this isn't affordable, but that's cool, and you're just all over. As you keep being concise and clear on the stuff you actually want, where you want, and what it has, that finally pays off in the end, once you actually come across the thing you're working on. Now, what we've done to find a place like this is we actually have been very creative and really looked at things different. My wife and I both sell real estate. So we have educated ourselves in real estate transactions. We understand how real estate deals work. We understand the marketplace a little bit. Marketplace is a weird beast. There's so much to learn, and there's so much to learn in real estate. So we made that part of our lives as being real estate agents and investing in real estate and doing that type of thing. And that's just because that's where we think of, spend our time, and that's what we want to learn. So that has helped us think a little differently. But I want to say a lot of people that I've worked with that have bought and created these cool paradises for hunting, you know what? They've been able to buy that property or find that property in different ways than the average Joe has. Or, you know, looking on Realtor or Zillow and buying it off of there, or going to a specific land specialist like what I do, selling recreational properties and specialize in marketing premier hunting properties. Those are the people you can reach out to that will help you find exactly what you're looking for, help you educate you on what to be aware of and how to do it. That's something that if you don't know real estate, you should look to somebody that's really focused in what you want. Don't just get a run-of-the-mill real estate agent either. Get somebody that's focused in what you want. And so that's where we've been creative in terms of we've sent letters, we've drove around for finding properties. Like, we actually drove around the areas we wanted and we looked for properties that looked interesting. We'd mark them down, maybe a rundown house or a vacant house, and you write it down. Certain things like that you can do to, get your foot in the door or let people know what you're looking for. If you don't let people know what you're looking for and asking and reaching out, you're never going to really get it. So that's a big thing we've implemented, is just how can we think differently on finding deals? Let's not just look at the market. Let's look at, what's happening out there. A lot of people in real estate, they have problems that need to be solved. So you have to think about, how can I think creatively to solve problems? How can I help this person out that needs to sell a property, or maybe they don't necessarily need to sell today, but there's usually something that, whether it's the amount of work involved in order to sell it, maybe it's, an estate sale, maybe it's where there's a lot of siblings involved, maybe there's just a lot of emotional attachment that makes it hard to sell. Those are the things you need to rethink and reimagine on how you get in front of deals and how you problem solve. Because when you problem solve, that's when you can find deals. And you just got to be consistent with it and think different. Think different is what got us here. And really, the last thing is just being patient. We were ready. We knew what we want. We had our finances in order. But there's this, being able to walk when you need to walk, and then being able to run when you need to run. So when the deal comes and you've been patient and you've been clear on what you want, guess what? You can strike while the iron's hot, and that's what you need to do. No matter what, down market, up market, sideways market, you need to be able to move and solve problems efficiently. You can't just sit around, blah, 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 blah. In a buyer's market, seller's market, doesn't matter. Time is of the essence always in real estate. So that's why you need to have clarity on what you want, having that plan, and then having that discipline and being able to wait. It might be 6 months, it might be 3 years. I've heard lots of people complain about, I've looked for years and I can't get it. And those people usually 3 years from now are still not going to buy because they don't have a good plan. They just say they're looking. It's like, well, if you're looking on the market and not thinking different and being creative, it is not going to work. You gotta get yourself out there. That's just how it works. And as soon as you complain about it, it does not accelerate you one bit at all. This is one of the biggest things that has really put us in a spot to be able to be set up financially and afford a beautiful 20 acres that we can really transform into what we want, is house hacking. My wife and I have house hacked several times now, And for the general real estate house hacking term, basically you are buying a rental, multi-unit rental, that you can live in one unit and rent out the others and pay for your mortgage and other expenses, and basically get into a house for very low costs. We've thought through house hacking very differently. We've done it in ways that aren't necessarily how most people approach them, but it's allowed us to take these cool steps and just getting to this point. And it puts you off. You're sacrificing again. Like you're saying, I can't buy this yet. I gotta do work before I can buy this. And that's gonna set up my family and myself. So then we can just keep the snowball rolling down the hill. And so we've done house hacks where we've turned a single family into a duplex. We've Airbnb'd on weekends while we're fixing up a basement. And basically that allows us to bootstrap our way into paying for a home, and then we're selling it at a higher value because we put sweat equity into things. And then we rolled it into we lived in a flip where we were going to live in this property for a couple years, fix it up along the way, and then sell it and take those gains and roll it into the next property. What we ended up doing is, instead of selling, we just found our next hack, and we were able to keep that, and we found a renter and we rented it out as we moved to the next house. And then we moved to another house that had an ADU, which we currently live in, has an ADU, which has an apartment above a garage that somebody rents, pays for part of our expenses and our mortgage. So now our expenses for owning that home's a lot less, and we live in it. We've fixed up a few things along the way. We're still going to do a lot of fixing in the apartment garage as that tenant leaves at some point. But now as we're fixing this place up, we're able to live somewhere and take the time to actually fix this place up. And it's not, we don't have that pressure of we gotta move or we fail. That's what you want to avoid, is being in that pinch of forcing you into something that you don't want to do. That's how a lot of people lose money in real estate. They buy when they shouldn't buy, and they sell when they shouldn't sell. You want to be in control of what you do. So, house hacking has been the number one way of really just absolutely accelerating our futures in finances, real estate investing, being able to buy cool things like 20 acres. And if you want to learn more about that, please leave a comment. I would love to hear if that's of any interest to other people wanting to buy hunting land, wanting to be in the hunting industry, all that kind of stuff. And that's a wrap. It's quite simple things that take a lot of work, a lot of discipline, and it might take longer than you hope. But let me tell you, it is well worth it when you're set up and you buy something that you really want. We are excited to share the journey of fixing up this 20-acre hunting property, showing how we're going to live on it, how we're going to play on it, and how we're going to hunt it. And there's more videos to come. So that's how we bought land in our early 30s, and you can too. Reach out if you have any other questions, and if you want to know more about the hidden mistakes in actually buying this type of land, I think you need to watch this next video.